guys, this is part 4 of the All About Hammock series. Today we're going to be talking on a little bit smaller subjects, but it's going to be basically different kind of pillows that I use and have tried in hammocks, and how to lay in hammocks. I know it sounds kind of weird, but there actually is a right and wrong way to lay in hammocks. Hammock length versus hammock width. And I think that's pretty much just what we're going to be covering today, so let's get right into it. Okay, pillows. I just brought out a couple right here. Here's just your standard, $5 pillow you buy like the travel section at Walmart. It's got a zipper. And then here is your X-Ped inflatable pillows. And obviously this is going to be way lighter, way smaller, although you do run the risk of it popping. And quite honestly, when I use this thing in the wintertime, when I use inflatable pillows that aren't insulated in any way, my head gets cold. Alright, so there it is, just go drop behind your head like this. Super light, thing weighs, I don't know, like 2.5 ounces. As, a smaller regular pillow, this is weighing around 6 or 7 ounces. So, this is 3 times the weight as this. It doesn't really compress super small neither. This thing can fit inside your fist. This is well over that size. But this thing keeps my head warm. This doesn't. This thing, you guys might be able to hear the kind of swooshy sound. Super slippery. It just slides all over everything. And I've used a few different inflatable type pillows for ground and in hammocks. Honestly, I just don't like them. I just don't like the balloon kind of feel to them. When you move around, your head just kind of, I don't know, like floating or bobbing or something. It's just not really for me. But what I found the best is, honestly, this cheap little crap thing. Go to Walmart, go to like the travel section, get yourself a small little pillow. What I would recommend is get one that has a zipper in it, because what I did is took out some of the stuffing and actually inserted this. And this right here is another hammock pillow. It's just a down pillow made by Hammock Gear. That's just a little bit too small for me, okay? Because I'm down, like with my hand on it, it compresses that much. So, let alone with my head. It's like there's not really hardly anything there. But what I did with this pillow is just took out some of the stuffing and replaced it with this down pillow. And it actually makes a perfect feeling pillow. It's super soft and it's warm and it's lighter than the original stuffing that comes in here. And what I did with this, you don't have to use a down pillow. I just had one because I tried it and didn't really like it. But it ended up being way more comfortable than anything I've tried. So I just kind of slide it in here. Pick whether or not you want to lay on the regular insulation or the down pillow part against your head. And then just zip it up. And also something nice about these is you can unzip it, pull the crap out of it, and wash it. This thing doesn't have a pillowcase. But if you just want to wash the pillow itself, it's easy enough to do. Now you got to keep in mind, if you guys used a full-size pillow in a hammock, it's gonna like break your neck. You really don't need much. Like when I'm on the ground, I like a good-sized fluffy pillow. But in a hammock, this is plenty sufficient right here. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. Don't, especially with inflatable ones. If I was using this thing, it would be almost flat. Because, I just don't need all this this much loft while in the hammock. Okay, so the next subject, hammock length versus hammock width. Your standard hammocks that you're gonna buy normally are gonna be between 9 and 10 feet long if you go with Grand Trunk, Eno, even up to 11 feet long, but I mean, that's probably a little bit more uncommon for businesses that are more mass marketed. So let's just say 9 to 11 feet just to cover almost all of them. 9 feet is, you know, it's perfectly fine for, you know, just lounging around or something, but they're not really comfortable to sleep in. I'm around 5'8", 5'9". 9 feet's too short. You can't move. You're kind of cramped up. 10 feet's definitely a lot better. I mean, you wouldn't think adding 1 foot to the hammock body length would make much difference, but I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference. And you know, I'm 5'8" or 5'9" or so, and 10 feet I can sleep in comfortably. But I just got this 11-foot hammock a few weeks ago, and I sleep in it 100 times better than my 10-foot of the same hammock. That extra foot adds a lot of comfort. It sounds kind of weird. Hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense to you when I show you guys kind of more how to lay in the hammock. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna shoot this. Let's just try our best, I guess. Okay, so most people think sleeping in a hammock is terribly uncomfortable because they think you're, you know, squished up like a banana. You know, they think you just sleep straight on like this, which, I mean, has a huge curve. That's not at all how you sleep. I don't know if the camera is going to capture this right. I hope it does. So how you actually lay in a hammock to sleep is you're going to get in it, you know, straight with the ridge line, and then you're going to move your feet to one side and your head to the opposite side, so you're laying diagonal. Let me pull this down a little bit. So like this. Now hopefully you guys can see this. I'm at a much flatter lay now. You know, and you can also pivot your feet to the left and your head to the right. There we go. Now you guys can see me a little bit better. It's weird for me to lay this way. I'm always have my head to the left. But anyway, so this is actually how you're supposed to lay in it. You know, and you'd have your pillow. Let me grab my good one because I don't like inflatable pillows. See, your feet are kind of in that little corner over there. You just put your pillow right here kind of in this flap of the hammock. And then there you go, and it keeps the flap out of your face because your head's elevated a little bit. So there's how to lay in the hammock. Hopefully you guys can see how flat this is as compared to this where my feet are above my head. Now, the hammock width honestly doesn't really matter. Once you hit about 55 to 60 inches wide, from there it's just excess material that's just gonna be flopping all over the place and not even being used. I've had double nest hammocks, which are like, you know, really wide, and I've also had narrow down to about 55 inches. Honestly, as long as, you know, I'm not like a super broad guy, but I mean, I personally wouldn't go anywhere over 60 inches because, you know, you see this flap when I'm not laying in it right here. It's like that times 100 times worse though if you go anything over 60 inches wide. And to get 60 inches wide, you generally are gonna have like two-toned colors, and there's gonna be stitching going across it because most fabrics aren't wider than 60 inches wide. So if you got a really wide hammock, you can only go so diagonal, get so diagonal in your lay before I guess your feet just stops. It's kind of weird. It's hard to explain, but I mean, at some point you just can't twist anymore. Okay, so I mean, you basically just twist until you can't anymore, and then you stop. There's your diagonal lay. But with the really wide hammocks, you're just gonna have like, let me move my feet up. It's just gonna be like this, like all over your face. Which, I mean, not necessarily saying it's bad, but I mean, for one thing, if you're weight conscious, it does add weight. You know, I mean, having that extra material on the ends. It also just has that flappiness all over your face and all over your feet. If you're sleeping in thunderstorms and it's really windy, that's pretty much what you're gonna hear all night, and that's pretty irritating as well. So for me, being my size, 5'8", 5'9", about 145 pounds, 11 foot by 60 inches, incredibly comfortable. I couldn't think of how it could be any more comfortable. Now, common thing that people think with hammocks, they're like, oh, I can't sleep with hammocks, in hammocks because, you know, I sleep on my side. Well, I do too. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my back, my stomach. I'm an aggressive sleeper. I'm all over the place, flopping all over everywhere all night. And I'll just try my best to show you. So, we get in our, you know, maybe this will show you guys a little bit better. So if I tried to sleep straight with the ridge line of the hammock on my stomach, my back's about to break. So terribly uncomfortable. But let's get in our diagonal. So now we're flat. So as you can see, perfectly fine, plenty of room to move around or whatever on my back. Now this is how I normally end up at nighttime, is like this, kind of halfway on my side, halfway on my stomach. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that. Just like this. And then there's also this right here, which is just basically just on my stomach. And I'm somewhere in between on my stomach and on my side when I sleep in the hammock. I start off on my back and then just at some point end up flopping over to my side or stomach. So you can sleep any which way as you can on a bed in a hammock. You just got to get your angles right and understand how to sleep in a hammock. That diagonal and the curve of the ridge line, which I talked about in the last video, is you want the ridge line 83% of the total hammock body length laid flat. Make the ridge line 83% of that length. That'll give you your right angle, allowing you to get a good, comfortable, healthy diagonal in your hammock. It's not going to screw up your back or anything. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's a better way I can get you guys from a heads up view. All right, so I got some help. Hopefully this will give you guys a better view of what it should and what it shouldn't look like. So what you don't want is to be straight on like this, parallel with the ridge line. You want to swing around over here, please, for me. And you don't want to be straight on because you're bent up like a banana. So what you do want, here's that diagonal from a different point of view for you guys. Feet over to either side, head over to the opposite side. And then this is how you want it. So you kind of want your feet on one side of this ridge line and your head on the other. Here, do you want to scoot over there and get a little bit from the side? And then I guess that's it. Just pretty much just wanted to show you guys how to get the right angle and what it should and what it shouldn't look like. Alrighty, I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, or dislike, whatever you want. Thanks for watching, guys.